I completed quite an arduous trip this morning. It's not like senators to understate many things, but I left my hometown of Flushing at 3 o'clock on Mother's Day, 2 days ago, to walk on behalf of Michigan's children that have been sexually assaulted. Last night, as we clocked the mileage from here to Flushing, it actually turned out to be 55 miles. We thought it was 50, but it ended up being 55, and I was actually glad that the miles were farther than what we thought they were. I walked those miles reflecting on our young people, about how long they must carry the burden of being sexually assaulted. Other states have extended the statute of limitations on these crimes on their young people. It's high time that Michigan did also. There's a great tendency after these assaults that our young people have a greater chance of committing suicide. And as more years go by, that they end up in the criminal justice system. They feel that they, in many cases, are the criminals rather than the victims of these sexual assaults. And that is why it was important to take that journey the last few days. I left on Mother's Day pointedly because I wanted to walk on behalf of the mothers. All of us, when we have an issue in our life, we seem to have an intimate discussion about our mother and with our mother. These young children that have been sexually assaulted, many times the first time they speak to anyone is to their mother that they have been assaulted at 5 and 6 and 7 years old. Because of particular circumstances, they don't advance that concern for many years later. Now, some would say that there would be a troubling incident, that the memories may be clouded and the facts diluted over a number of years. But who in this chamber would say that the pain that is inflicted on these young people would be diluted, or that they would be shadowed over many years? So I rise today to ask us to do an important piece of business for these young people. I am a Catholic. I've said it many times on this floor and throughout my life. I'm proud of my faith, very proud of my faith. But it seems there's a preponderance of blame put on my church, the Catholic Church. And we know that these sexual assaults are not dominated by any denomination. They're not exclusive to any entity, but it's a social problem, not necessarily an issue that's contained to the clerics or the religious, but it's in all aspects of life. When my Catholic Church tells me that there's been a preponderance of discrimination against them, it's hard for me to deny that. But our efforts shouldn't be on behalf of any organization or denomination or entity. It should be on behalf of the young people that have been assaulted. The records are clear. So I would ask that we look at this in a responsible fashion and join other states. I stand before you in this chamber today to ask us to work together. Quite possibly the best way to do this would be to implement a task force. So I'd ask those that would be interested in joining this in a bipartisan effort to join with us and offer these young folks and their families some relief. Justice? Justice is a question that we all must meet. Once again, not because we belong to an organization or any particular entity, but because of the individual responsibilities of citizenry. So we can, and we should, and we must offer relief for Michigan's young children that have been sexually assaulted. Let's join together and relieve the suffering of these families. I'd ask that my remarks be recorded in a journal and ask that we give some compassion and concerns for these families. Thank you, Mr. Lieutenant.